This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
If you've followed along with me for any length of time on this show, you know I love the charts. I love the graphs. I love the visual depictions of the things that I talk about, especially when it relates to pointing out what dangerous dipshits Republicans are. The lack of concern for their fellow Americans is shining through. The New York Times just published an article entitled, "Least Vaccinated U.S. Counties Have Something in Common: Trump Voters." And it really lays bare exactly the dire situation we're in America. That, look, this isn't only about, well, who cares if they make the choice not to get vaccinated? They're not hurting anybody but themselves. If it were that, I think we could let it go. That they'll eventually, just through attrition, the natural aspect of Darwinian, the Darwin Award, killing themselves off. A bummer for their families, a bummer for their loved ones, but no one's really going to be super sad about a bunch of dumbasses ending themselves. When it comes to an invisible pathogen, a virus, it puts everybody in danger, because these are the people with whom you shop at the grocery store, near whom you shop at the grocery store. When you're feeling the melon to see whether it's ripe, and the goof next to you, without a mask on or with his nose hanging out from the top of that mask, if he's not vaccinated and not taking it seriously, he impacts you and your health. And we're finding that in large measure, this is Trump voters who are skeptical, who are worried, who are concerned about government overreach because of my liberties, putting other Americans at risk. From the article, about 31% of adults in the United States have now been fully vaccinated. Scientists have estimated that 70 to 90% of the total population must acquire resistance to the virus to reach herd immunity. But in hundreds of counties across the country, vaccination rates are low, with some even languishing in the teens. The disparity in vaccination rates has so far mainly broken down along political lines. The New York Times examined survey and vaccine administration data for nearly every U.S. county and found that both willingness to receive a vaccine and actual vaccination rates to date were lower on average in counties where a majority of residents voted to re-elect former President Donald dipshit Trump in 2020. The phenomenon has left some places with a shortage of supply and others with a glut. Now look at this. Now look, Trump voters clearly are not the smartest. This is just another point of evidence of that. But being stupid and having malicious intent for your neighbor are two different things. Being a dummy doesn't necessarily mean that you put your neighbor in a dangerous situation. But look at this. Put this on. States with larger Trump vote shares are likely to have more adults who are vaccine hesitant. Vaccine hesitant is how the New York Times refers to it. Look at that. Wyoming, North Dakota, Mississippi, Idaho, my home state of Idaho, Montana, Tennessee, Louisiana, Oklahoma, West Virginia, Ohio, Kansas, all above that line. Then your swing states where there are Trump voters, but fewer. And then, of course, your reasonable states, Maryland, California, Hawaii, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Minnesota. disgusting. And then on the right side, and have a smaller share of residents already vaccinated than states with larger Biden vote shares. The data don't lie, folks. Next chart, vaccination rates by age group and 2020 election results. 18 to 64, minus 19% from the average. They're saying like 50% of Republican males are saying they have no interest in taking the vaccine. It is one, a surefire method to drastically, I mean, listen, they are at a frenetic pace right now trying to pass voter suppression laws all across the country. Maybe it's in part to the fact that they know their own constituencies are doing their damnedest to kill themselves off, and they need to do something to maintain power. Here's his other paragraph. When asked in polls about their vaccination plans, Republicans across the country have been far less likely than Democrats to say they plan to get shots. Most recently, on Wednesday, Monmouth University and Quinnipiac University polls indicated that almost half of Republicans did not plan to pursue vaccinations. Only around 1 in 20 Democrats said the same. Look, Democrats are not immune from dumbassery. We're all people. We're all prone to missteps in logic and understanding. But it is such a common occurrence with Trump voters and Republicans that it makes you wonder. Let me read about a couple of counties here. In a county in Wyoming, a local health official asked the state to stop sending first doses of the vaccine because the freezer was already stuffed to capacity with unwanted vials. There's not enough people who want the vaccine, so that the rush to get everybody vaccinated so we can move on with our lives. If you saw the clip of Jim Jordan, Jim Jordan, trying to harangue Anthony Fauci in committee the other day, while his nose he's not wearing a mask. Listen, at this point in the pandemic, if you're not wearing your mask right, it's malicious. You mean to do it. I get it in the onset, in the first month or so. Nobody's used to wearing a mask, but at this point, bro. In an Iowa county, a clinic called people who had volunteered to give shots to tell them not to come in because so few residents had signed up for appointments. In a county in Pennsylvania, a hospital set up a drive-through in the park stocked with roughly 1,000 vaccine doses. Only about 300 people showed up. Now look at this map of the United States. The federal government estimates of COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy. I mean, that could be a Trump voter map. States like Wyoming and Idaho and Montana, North Dakota, all throughout the South, the dummies in the southern United States, who for generations haven't cared about their neighbors and taking care of their well-being. And here we are again. One more piece of data. The stack of evidence that they don't care about you. They don't care about your health and your well-being. They don't care about your elderly parents. We see that from who they vote for and what policy prescriptions they put forth. And we're seeing it here. And this is all can be laid at the feet of Donald Trump, who politicized this from the very beginning. Donald Trump, who got the vaccine in secret in the White House as soon as they were available. Every other living former president did it on camera to assuage any concern from anyone that it is safe. We're getting it. We believe in this. This is the way. This is the path forward. Not Trump. He wants to continue to politicize this. He wants to continue to divide Americans. Be smarter than that. Go get the vaccine when it is available to you. I just got my second dose on Thursday from the VA hospital in Long Beach. It took me out on Friday. We talked about that on the podcast. Took me out on Friday. It wasn't even great on Saturday, but I'm vaccinated now. The chances of me catching the coronavirus are vastly reduced. Less than 1% chance. And if I continued living like I'm living, wearing a mask in public, it's even less. Anyway, I'd love to know what you think. Am I being too harsh? I know I started off maybe being a little hateful. What do you think? 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. I really do appreciate your engagement with my content, subscribing to the channel, liking my videos, doing all the YouTube stuff that every YouTuber tells you to do or asks you to do. I would also, one larger ask, and that's if you're in a financial position to do so, and I bring you value. If I bring you some value, please consider supporting my work for fewer than $2 a month. You can help support independent analysis and commentary on an almost daily basis. I would appreciate it if you would. Follow me on social media, check out my podcast, and I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. And please, don't be one of these people. Take care of one another.